Today's Talking Memphis Wrestling is dedicated to the memory of what I think is the greatest NWA World Heavyweight Champion of all time, the great Dory Funk Jr., born on February the 3rd, 1941, passed away on August the 4th, today, 2026, 1985. He's the second longest tenured. In other words, he had the championship more days than anybody except for the great Lou Thesz. One of certainly the workhorses, classic rivalries all over the world. His greatest rivalry, certainly, as we hope Dory and know Dory is resting in peace, the great rivalry for years between the great Dory Funk Jr. and Jack Briscoe. What memories, what great matches they had, Jack Briscoe and Dory Funk Jr. Again, our show dedicated today to the memory of Dory Funk Jr., who we lost today.
Talking Memphis Wrestling with Randy Hales is now streaming live on Fun Media at fun927.com and is always on Facebook, YouTube, X, Twitch, and at tv5wrestling.com.
Talking Memphis Wrestling with Randy Hales and special guests.
It's always an honor as I look here and see the great people from Thomas to Calvin to Tracy to Al Tuttle, and certainly my good friend, my brother from another mother. It's good to have Randy Dandy, Randy West in the house, and it's good to be here as we are loaded as we've ever been loaded on Talking Memphis Wrestling today. Want to get right into the program later on, pretty quick, about 40 minutes into the show. We will go back to December the 11th, 1977, and for the first time in the history of our show, we will show the complete 1 hour Broadway, 1 hour draw between world champion Harley Race and Jerry the King Lawler. We also have a great Frank Seaton. We have a great 1981 Dory Funk Jr. match. A lot of funk talk, a lot of stuff happening. I want to tell everybody we've had issues last week with YouTube. Apparently, we are airing on YouTube. If you're ever on the YouTube channel and it goes away, go to the Randy Hales Show on Facebook. Go to Randy Hales .79 on Facebook, at RB Hills on Twitter, X, certainly the Randy Hales channel on Twitch. If YouTube goes away, and so far nobody, I think maybe one person is watching on YouTube. So if we go away, I want you to know where to find us, certainly, because James is watching on YouTube. James, check out my Facebook page if this feed goes away. Want to do first take time, and the first thing I want to bring in somebody I've talked to multiple times the last few days. He's from Birmingham, Alabama. He's a week or so away from a family vacation at the beach. Had to hang up on him a few minutes ago from my niece Cindy calling me. She's back from the beach, and Pat, my best buddy, is going to the beach. Want to bring him in on a somber show as we remember Dory Funk Jr. Welcome the OG, the originator, along with myself, for Talking Memphis Wrestling. Good evening, Mr. Trammell.
Well, good evening to everybody. Good to see everybody today. I'll tell you, it's a somebody told me one time, men plan and God laughs, and we're all. I was really looking forward to today's show, and I'm still looking forward to today's show. But we do want to. We do want to spend a little time talking about the news of the day, which is the passing of Dory Funk. And Randy, the NWA World Heavyweight Championship has uh, has evolved over the years. The purpose of it, what they've done with it, et cetera, and had in our lifetime. But I think Dory Funk and Jack Briscoe were the last two of the old school wrestling grapplers, and I know we've got Tony on tonight. He can speak to that too, to hold that belt. Also, interestingly, Dory was one half of the only two brothers to hold the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, and his brother was a not unknown opponent of the King, Jerry Lawler, in Memphis. And some of our favorite matches have been Terry Funk and Jerry Lawler. So we want to remember Dory Funk Jr. today, and look forward to the show.
All right, a little bit of information I want to give you. Certainly, I already said that we lost Dory Funk Jr. today at 85 years old. He was born on February the 3rd, 1941, passed away on August the 4th, 2026. He first won the NWA World Heavyweight Championship in Tampa, Florida on February the 11th, 1969, from Gene Knitsky. He's the second longest uninterrupted tenure in the history of the NWA title. Lou Thesz did that before him and is the longest tenure. Certainly just a absolutely unbelievable wrestler, and we're certainly looking forward to talking about him, as well as that great NWA world title match between Harley Race. First time in the history of this show, folks. First time in the history of the show, we'll show a complete 1 hour draw tonight. Now, second member of tonight's a guest panelist that's been here several weeks in a row. Always glad to see him. He's from the Pro Wrestling Time Tunnel. I'm addicted to his stuff. Great guy. I want to bring him in here right now. Certainly, let's make welcome from Kentucky, wearing his shirt and his cap, because he's cap-wise. He's stealing from Pat. He had to have it. Welcome to the show as we play tribute to Dory Funk Jr., Tony Richards, Pro Wrestling Time Tunnel, the great historian and a Hall of Famer. Welcome to the show once again, Tony.
Thank you, Randy, and hello, everybody. Hey, Pat. It's good to be back here tonight, and it's a sad night for me. I think most people know I've spent a lot of time researching the Funk family, and I have a book on Dory Funk Sr. that is going to be published coming soon. And I don't know. I've just spent so much time with people around them, and I've spent a lot of time with Dory Funk Jr., and I just got close to him. And so when somebody close to you passes away, it's difficult, and I feel for the family members and all the people, especially the fans who grew up with Dory being their champion, and he was a great champion. And Randy and I have often said he's our pick for the number one NWA champion. And when people ask me about that, why that is, one is because when he became the champion in 1969, the NWA was a lot bigger than it was when Lou Thesz was the champion. And Lou had the title more times and longer, but Dory had a bigger geographic territory. Australia had come into the NWA. Japan was a lot more active in the NWA. New Zealand had come in. There were a lot more foreign countries that were part of the National Wrestling Alliance. And Dory's schedule on a monthly basis was a lot tougher than Lou's. Lou dropped the title in '66, and Dory picked it up in '69. In those 3 years, the National Wrestling Alliance grew exponentially. The other thing that I think is important is that anytime you saw Dory Funk Jr. defend the NWA title, most times you thought you might be going to see a title change. He did such a good job making his competitor look so credible and look like that they could beat him. It's something that's an art form that's not been mastered by a lot of people, and he mastered it. He was young when he got the title. He had the all-American image, a collegiate type image. He always wore that West Texas athletic jacket, and most times he had a cowboy hat. He mimicked his father, Dory Funk Sr. If you ever see Dory Funk Jr. be introduced, he does a little dance out of the corner, and that little dance and throwing up one finger in the air, that was a Dory Funk Sr. introduction. When he was introduced, he did that same thing. And so Dory Jr. did that in memory and in honor of his dad. And there were just so many things. I mean, Dory Funk Sr. was the world junior heavyweight champion. And then Dory and Terry were world heavyweight champions. There were the three Funks were all world heavyweight champions in different divisions. And so just a fantastic family. A lot of people may not remember that Dory was actually from Indiana. He was born in Hammond, Indiana, as with Terry, and they grew up in Texas and became Texans. But they were Indiana people by birth, and they moved down to Texas in 1948 and established a very strong wrestling culture down there. And it's just it's a tough day for me, Randy, but I'm glad to be here tonight and glad we're going to have a great show.
Going to have a big show, and August the 4th is not a happy day, as we have two very high-profile deaths that took place with Memphis wrestling mainstays. And Adam, if you can please show those graphic, and please, it's toward the bottom of the graphic list. On this day, we lost beautiful Bobby Eaton at age 62. He passed away on August the 4th, 2021. Also, on the very same day of the very same year, at age 63 years old, we lost Bert Prentice. So beautiful Bobby Eaton, Bert Prentice, and now Dory Funk Jr. passed away on this day. Now, Pat, isn't that something that on this day we also lost Bobby and Bert?
Yeah, I'll tell you, when I think about the best technical wrestlers of my lifetime, you've got two of the top, maybe the top two right there in Bobby and Dory. You know, somehow, even though we hate it, it's a bit appropriate that on the same day both of them would go head home. And so, you know, gonna miss them both. I had the opportunity, I told you earlier, Randy, to meet Dory and visit with him. I guess the last time the NWA belt it was dropped from Cody Rhodes to Nick Aldis in Nashville, and I helped Mr. Fox set up his table afterwards. So had a good little visit with him. And you know, I don't know, man. Bobby was my age today when he passed us, and you know, I appreciate getting older. I hope I've got a lot more years left, because there's a lot more I want to do and a lot want to see with my kids and everything else. But you know, you're one of the things you don't like about getting old is you know, your heroes start leaving you.
Absolutely,
certainly did today.
Absolutely. Now, my original plans in the format for the first time, I was going to show a 1-hour time limit match between Harley Race and Jerry Lawler in 1977. I was going to lead off the show with that. However, the sad news with Dory Funk Jr., and I thought that it was very imperative that we would go ahead and lead off. Now, we've been doing a timeline of Memphis wrestling and been talking a lot about 1981, and that was the year Jerry Lawler returned from a broken leg, and they brought in a lot of talent to face him during that year, including Hulk Hogan and so many more. One of the people, and I believe the date was March the 30th, 1981. It was Dory Funk Jr. and Jerry Lawler. This is a highlight piece, not the entire match. But here's some Dory Funk Jr. and some Jerry Lawler, 6 minutes, 25 seconds as we continue with Tony, Pat, and myself, and Adam Dunn producing with Talking Memphis Wrestling.
Between Jerry Lawler and Dory Funk Jr. was some kind of rough and tough action. It went 32 minutes and so many seconds on the thing. We have some highlights of it. I'd like for you to see it. The King and Dory Funk Jr. Main event action from the Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis, Tennessee, where Jerry the King Lawler, current holder of the AWA Southern Heavyweight title, former holder of the CWA World Heavyweight title, is facing the holder of as many titles as you can probably count on several toes and hands and so forth. Dory Funk Jr., his opponent tonight, starts right off, mares Lawler over a side headlock on the mat. Whoa! There's that tremendous forearm uppercut. And he is lashing Lawler. Takes him up and over, down.
Dr. Robinson in the house watching today. And
Lawler
so many
again on his
appreciate
feet. He's got to
everybody
figure some
coming
way to
in.
come
And
out.
Pat, this is a wrestling match. That's
It is a wrestling match. Just what I was thinking. Richard Hood, you're right. A great technical wrestler, and good to see you, Dr. Rusty. He mentioned he played football at West Texas State, which so many of those wrestlers. Terry's brother did. I think Murdoch did. I think Dusty did.
Hip toss and Lawler.
No, Dusty didn't play football.
Oh, he did?
No, he played baseball, and Murdoch never played there.
Lawler after him with that right.
He told everybody. He told everybody he did. Yeah.
Head back.
Stan Hansen did. Bobby Duncombe did. Ted DiBiase, Tully Blanchard, Mercedes Solis, Tito Santana, they all played there.
Working our way around to the 20-minute mark here in another few seconds.
Tony, have you ever seen clips of this match?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I think I was at this match.
And as the referee grabs the arm,
because in 1981, when the Funks were here, I went to almost every match they were in.
This is March 30th, 1981.
Yep.
And Lawler is becoming impervious to pain.
I made a point to see every Terry match, and I'm pretty sure I saw Dory Jr. too. I know I saw Dory Jr. in Evansville.
Dory Jr. drops a knee again at him.
Do you guys agree?
Is that hard on the outside the ring?
Again?
Yes.
This is the year Lawler returned, so Hart was bringing people in. The forearms are the best forearms ever.
Yeah, I tell you, that's something you don't see anymore.
Straight over back.
Oh, that European uppercut.
Yeah.
There we go, right there. Those are not fun to take either.
Jerry getting pumped up.
Jerry popped the strap down. I don't think he wanted to take any more of them.
Lawler caught him this time. Nails him with a right. Dory's down. Again.
Look at him.
I'll tell you what Dory never got credit for, and I've noticed this in some matches
straight over the shoulder
with others. He could really sell.
Yeah, he always looked beatable.
Hard with that right hand.
He was a great bumper.
Lawler hanging on to him, but Funk also hanging on into the ropes. Lawler down on the floor hard, out on the concrete. Dory pulls him into the ring by the hair. Goes for the
that used to be a submission
stretch.
hold.
Yeah,
Immediate.
Stretch.
Immediate submission hold in the Goulas territory.
31 minutes.
Pulling on the tights, healing a little bit for the crowd.
Crowd hollering. We can see it, and I'm sure you can too. Dory has hold of the trunks.
Lance is awesome.
You can see it on this side. The referee can't see it. He is really stretching Lawler, and he catches his hand in there.
Yeah, Dr. Rusty, I was going to say hi to him a while ago. I know he lived in Amarillo for a while and got a taste of the culture there for a couple of years. Great wrestling town.
Okay, Hart is healing Lawler. Okay.
And that may be a disqualification on
Yeah,
Funk. It should be.
Lawler came back to get revenge
Jerry
on Hart,
Calhoun trying to fight him
and
off.
Hart
That's
would
gonna
bring
be it.
people in
32 minutes, 28
to
seconds.
get Lawler,
But Funk
and
has that stick
Dory
right in
flat out
Lawler's
heel
eye.
with that weapon. That's
Lawler
unusual,
grabs the
Tony.
wrist.
Yeah, very much. But, I mean, they knew who the star in Memphis was. So
And Lawler now coming up to his feet. The bout's over officially.
And in West Texas wrestling, that wasn't,
comes
you know,
Hart
that
in the
was
ring.
having a weapon like that. That wasn't any big deal. Very violent out there.
They're battling for that stick. It's half of the thing, and Lawler goes after Dory Jr., and the referee grabs him.
That was a pretty smooth powder.
Absolutely. Dory is just a professional. Dory Funk Jr., everybody,
Lawler
and
down
we
on
will
the floor.
talk more about Dory later in the show as we have a few seconds left
They're
in
battling
this match.
right down below us on the floor.
I love it. Look at the crowd gathering around to see.
Both Funks were so good, and the chemistry with Lawler was so good, and I
Very
think
good.
we certainly enjoyed that. We lost Dory Funk Jr. Dave Folks, one of the greatest of all time, at 85 years old, and we certainly, our sympathy goes to his family, to his kids, and of course to his wife. We enjoyed bringing you that match with Dory Funk Jr. Tried to find more with Lawler and Dory, but that was just great stuff. Now, Tony, I did not tell you this, but I plagiarized a little bit. I stole something, and I want to spend 5 or 6 minutes of this. The next to last row from the bottom, the second picture, the 7 stages picture, Pat. I think you will be interested in this. This is from Tony Richards' Pro Wrestling Time Tunnel. I want to spend 5 or 6 minutes talking about this because we have the 60-minute draw. We want to get to it. I stole this from you, Tony. Didn't ask permission, but I knew you would be on here. So if you say take it off, we will say take it off. I just encourage everybody to go to the Pro Wrestling Time Tunnel, watch the great stuff. Also subscribe to the Daily Chronicle, as I have, and I get great stuff every day. Quickly, Tony, all 7 stages, and pause for Pat's reaction between each stage. The 7 stages of the territory era, just a wonderful graphic. I learned a lot. Go one by one, pause, and then Pat, you jump on. So Tony, number 1.
This comes from my days of being a consultant. If you really want to understand something, you create a framework around it. So this was my framework for understanding the territory era. And as far as I'm concerned, the seeds of it was being sowed from 1925 to 1935. And that first stage is called conception. And the Gold Dust Trio are inventing what would become booking of matches. They're coming up with creative finishes. They're coming up with return matches and just so many concepts that are being laid down by the Gold Dust Trio for that 10-year period. Joe Stecker was the world champion for some of that. And so that first stage is called Conception. And
I guess, Tom, when we're talking about that, we're talking about, originally, and I've listened to a lot of your work on this, but initially going back to the original Dutch Mantell days, wrestling a lot was a traveling carnival reaction, and now people are starting to homestead and do matches on a regular basis. Is that what is starting to happen here?
Yeah, and you make a good point about the original Dutch Mantell in West Texas. He trained so many guys who, like Roy Welch, Pat Malone, Sailor Moran, all these, Charlie Carr, Chris Jordan, all these guys that would come to the South and start territories. So even the conception of the territories that would become Southern wrestling was taking place in this first stage.
Right.
Before we get to number 2, I just want Adam to put up Rusty's last comment. Certainly, Rusty, we've mentioned earlier, Tony called him out, and Rusty said that Terry Funk's daughter, Brandy, was one of his nurses as he was running the cancer center, and that's how he met Terry Funk. For sure.
Brandy is the youngest daughter, and she's a sweetheart. I'm closer to the oldest daughter, Stacy, but they're both just wonderful people.
Quickly, let's do number 2.
Number 2 is foundation. So during the Great Depression from 1935 till the end of World War II, this is where Paul Bowser and the Curley Trust took place, where Tom Pax and Jack Curley and about 6 or 7 promoters had a national circuit that was running, which really laid the conception and foundation for what would become the National Wrestling Alliance. But these early trusts pretty much controlled wrestling in about 16 to 18 major towns. And while that was going on, underneath in some of the smaller cities like Nashville and Dallas and some of those places, these promoters were starting to put down stakes and start having weekly wrestling in the same building. So the foundations of what we would learn to be the territory era were being laid in that 10-year period.
And my assumption, Tony, is those were in New York, Chicago, St. Louis,
Los Angeles.
Yeah, the bigger towns, kind of coast to coast.
St. Louis.
Was wrestling late to the Confederacy, the Deep South?
It was, as far as what we're talking about. It wasn't as far as scuffling was concerned. You had town bullies and town champions. You had a lot of ex-Confederate soldiers who became bounty hunters, and they became cowboys going out west, and they also wrestled for a living. You had riverboat champions, guys who would get off the riverboat and they would challenge the town champion when the boat would dock, and those kinds of wrestling matches would take place. But not
those were shoots, right?
Those were very much shoots. You bet.
Okay, let's do number 3, as we have 7 and we want to get through this. And coming up, the 1-hour Broadway history making in this show to show an hour draw. I'm very excited about that. Number 3, Tony.
Yep. So expansion started taking place. So 1945, you had the original Southern Tag Team Champions, Herb and Roy Welch, and you had territories starting to form as far as geographic areas where promoters would run circuits. And so those circuits, in a lot of cases, were based on the old carnival routes. And so you had expansion taking place post World War II. You had Lou Thez, you had Buddy Rogers, you had Ray Gunkel, you had a lot of these amateur wrestlers coming into professional wrestling and expanding. And then so you had territories forming. In 1948, you had the NWA form, the National Wrestling Alliance, which booking offices joined as members. And then the booking offices coordinated the talents, and the town promoters got their talent from those booking offices.
Okay.
Pat?
Well, I mean, I'm it's interesting to see all this come together. I'm particularly interested in the investigation era because that almost killed wrestling. Is that right,
Yep.
Tony?
So stage four, 1955 to 1965, the National Wrestling Alliance, it controls wrestling across Canada, across all of North America. Is controlled by one organization, which was the National Wrestling Alliance. Sam Mushnick was the president. He was based in St. Louis, Missouri. He was the most powerful man in wrestling. The National Wrestling Alliance champion was defending the title all across Canada, all across the United States, in the Northeast, areas where we now think of as being WWF territory. It was all National Wrestling Alliance from 1955 to 1963. So the government, the Department of Justice, smelled a rat there. Several talents, wrestlers had complained that they had been blackballed and it was unfair labor practices, and that the National Wrestling Alliance was using its power to leverage to keep certain people out of the business and to keep the barrier of entry of getting in wrestling at a very high level, very hard for people to get in. And so the government did a very in-depth investigation and essentially laid down the law, and the National Wrestling Alliance promoters signed a consent decree that they would no longer do those particular labor practices.
Pat?
Well, a lot, and I've read a lot about this kind of period in history, but there was a tremendous amount of government scrutiny into monopolies and conglomerates and all of that type of thing. And I think one of the things, my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, Tony, was were they running a monopoly here, and was it a rigged system, which it certainly was supposed to be. But I think a lot of that the Department of Justice was looking to see, was this an industry that had unfairly, I guess, entertaining people. I don't know, but I remember reading that there was a lot of that talk going on as well.
Well, the National Wrestling Alliance was a cooperative. And so just like an agricultural cooperative where
sure it was.
Well, it was a cooperative of promoters, right?
Right.
And so it depends on your viewpoint. If you've invested a lot of money into being a wrestling promoter and you have a territory and you have this cooperative that you can join that will help you protect your business, wouldn't you be for that? I would say you probably would as an entrepreneur.
Certainly I would.
And also, the strength of that cooperative is going to help you keep competitors away from your business. It's going to represent you in Washington. It's going to help you look after your interests. So as a promoter, the National Wrestling Alliance was one of the best things to ever happen. Now, if you want to get in as a promoter and you want to be a wrestling promoter, it's going to make it very difficult for you to do that because the barrier of entry is going to be very, very high. And anytime you try to make a move, you're going to have the full power and strength of this cooperative coming down on your head. So that's just kind of depends on which way you decide to look at it. Now, two things happened in stage four. One was Vern Gagne, who was very frustrated with not being able to win the National Wrestling Alliance world title, bought out the Minneapolis office of the NWA, and he founded the American Wrestling Association in 1960. The other thing that happened was Vince McMahon Sr. broke away in 1963 and formed the World Wrestling Federation. And so those two things helped the NWA's case to prove that we're not a monopoly. Look, there's two other organizations just like ours that prove that we're not a single sole controller of all this stuff. There are other places for talent to go to work. We aren't the only game in town.
Let's do number 5, as we have 7 or 8 minutes before we need to get to the world title match. People, stay tuned for that coming up. Really excited about watching a 1-hour draw, Harley Race and Jerry Lawler. Number 5, Tony.
Yeah, so stage 5 is consolidation. And in my opinion, this is the strongest time period for the territory era. From 1965 to 1975, you just have an incredible amount of talent that pours into the territory era. Jack Briscoe, Jerry Briscoe, the Funks, Jerry Lawler, Jackie Fargo comes back out of retirement. You've got Bruno Sammartino, you've got Vern Gagne. You just got a tremendous amount of talent that debuts in this 10-year period. And it's a time of consolidation where the three major groups consolidated. You also had Japanese wrestling, which got to be very strong territorially. You had Australia that got fired up with the national promotion there with Jim Barnett from 1964 to 1975. It is a tremendous golden era. And you had the Comiskey Park drawing the huge crowd in Chicago. You had Texas Stadium shows in Texas. You had the first Superdome show in New Orleans. You had a whole lot. And as Pat mentioned, 1975 was the year that Sam Mushnick retired as the president of the National Wrestling Alliance. And so his last hand-picked champion was Jack Briscoe, which is what Pat was referring to. And so going forward in 76, you had Fritz von Erich as president. Then in August of 76, Eddie Graham was elected. Eddie had health issues after being in office a couple of years, couldn't finish his term. And then, you had some shaky stuff there going into stage 6 where things became very fragmented. The National Wrestling Alliance was no longer a one for all and all for one. You had a lot of dissension. You had a lot of breaking off. You had a lot of offices closing down in stage 6. You pretty much lost the entire western half of the country. Los Angeles closed. San Francisco closed. Amarillo closed down. So all of those offices closed around 1980. And then you had the sale from McMahon to McMahon in the WWF in the latter part of stage 6, which was going to set the stage for stage 7.
Pat, so real quick notes on 5 and 6, both real quick.
Well, I mean, what I would opine on it is the consolidation era was driven by TV. Obviously we've quoted many times that in the heydays of Memphis wrestling, 63% of the Mid-South TV watchers on Saturday morning were watching wrestling, and then cable TV refragmented it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we can't minimize the importance of TV in the glory days, but also in basically killing the promotions, killing the territories, because it was before you knew it, you had two people broadcasting nationally, and people were watching TBS and others on cable TV, and not necessarily watching so much of their local wrestling anymore.
You're right, Pat. I mean, the syndication came in stage 5, where territories were syndicating and bicycling tapes around their territory, which gave them a tremendous amount of power in that consolidation period. And interestingly enough, all the things that happen on the 5s in every one of these stages. So in 1976, that's the year TBS uplinked to the satellite. So
Right.
that kicked off stage 6. And by the time we get to stage 7, it's a completely different business paradigm as far as cable and satellite television.
Hey, Pat, aren't you thrilled, Pink, that I stole this from Tony?
Yeah.
It's
We're
good
all
stuff.
we're all here to learn. Information's good for everybody.
Absolutely. The last
So
one.
when you think about it, Randy, when you think about it, I mean, the territory era really lasted about 70 years. It wasn't like a huge, enormous amount of time. And it takes a little bit of upside down thinking. But when we think of the territory time being the hottest in stage 7, it was actually becoming a supernova and about to burn itself out. That's why it was so hot in stage 7 is it was the last big flame up before it would disintegrate in the mid 90s.
Let's talk about that real quick, and then we'll get to the NWA World Title, Harley Race, and Lawler. Certainly, Number 7, I'm really looking forward to hearing your thoughts and Pat's thoughts about this final stage. This is wonderful work, Tony.
Thank you. Yeah, so you know, you got corporate changes, you got national expansion because of the. I mean, look, a lot of people want to blame Vince for killing the territories, but what really killed the territories was this technology boom. This is what disintegrated because it erased the territory lines. Territory lines were created in stage 4 with television and with syndication because those bicycle tapes were going around the boundaries of the territories. Well, when television was able to be seen in other territories, I've seen people post on social media like, "Oh, it was wonderful. I could see wrestling over here, and I could see wrestling over there, and this was a great time." And I'm thinking to myself, "Yeah, but listen to what you're saying. You're able to see other wrestling, and when you could see other wrestling, that was when the end was in sight for the territory era."
Pat?
Yeah, I mean, I just, again, and it's a little bit stark to look at the history of the sport we love like that, and really, it doesn't seem that long between 1975 and 1995. But in our lifetimes, the sport we love is just, I tell you, it's changed, immeasurably.
Yeah, the technology of the videotape, tape trader. I
Absolutely.
was a tape trader. And when you can see other wrestling, either by tape trading or by cable or by satellite, that was, I mean, the territories were created when you couldn't see wrestling just anywhere you wanted to. So that was all contributing to, unfortunately, the disintegration of a time that we all hold very, very special and dear.
Yeah, and
Tony,
I
thanks.
agree. I agree with Blues Doctor Rusty. If Vince hadn't killed the territory, somebody else would have.
Well, Barnett saw it. The Briscoes saw it. Several people saw it. They just didn't act on it.
Yeah.
They just didn't. The Funks saw it. That's why they sold their territory.
Now,
They.
Tony, Richard Hood has a question, and Adam, if you could put the last comment on the screen up there. He says, Tony, do you think Georgia Championship Wrestling on TBS cable TV was the start of the end of the promotions, the end of the territory?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think that's a good place to start. I mean, in 1976, when TBS was uplinked in December of that year, Georgia Championship Wrestling was in a talent trade deal with the WWF. WWF was sending talent to Georgia, and some of the Georgia guys were going up there. I think Austin Idol went up there, and some other people went up there. Well, in December of that year, they put a Georgia Championship Wrestling special on HBO. It's never been seen again, just that one time, and it never happened again after that. I think Vince McMahon Sr. saw the Georgia product and thought, I can't allow my people up here to be seeing too much of that. And so that was the end of that. WWF continued to put shows on HBO, but Georgia Championship Wrestling was never seen on HBO again. But they were uplinked on satellite, and people began to see it by cable and by, when they had the home dishes, which came in the late 70s.
First time I saw Memphis collapse was around 1985. It wasn't a complete collapse. It was a gradual collapse, and certainly by the 90s and the Monday Night Wars, that's when Memphis City itself had the big thing. Just very interesting thing, and we'll save that graphic and we'll get back to it when we can. But Pat has a comment right now.
Well, I have a question for you, and I have a question for our Memphis wrestling old timers. Um, if Memphis had run Tuesday nights traditionally, do you think the houses would have gone down as quickly?
No,
I mean, it is a punch to the heart that Monday Night Wars came on Monday night when they were running the Coliseum.
I can tell you the reason it saved me a nervous breakdown in 95 is that was the heart of the Monday night wars in Memphis, there was hardly anything I could do except for hot shot every once in a while. It was about drove me nuts. What kept me from having the nervous breakdown is I'd leave Memphis and I'd go to Louisville and it would be packed, and Evansville packed, and Nashville packed, and then from Jerry Jarrett, who wasn't around much, but he would tell me, knowing what was going on in wrestling, and Jerry Lawler would tell me every day, he says, there's nothing nobody can do. He said, you will luck up every once in a while with the right thing, but as long as the other towns keep doing what they're doing and getting better, Louisville and Nashville was doing better business than it had in 6 or 7 years, maybe 8, for the Smoky Mountain USWA feud. So we were in good shape. It was
so you were running Louisville Tuesday and Nashville when?
Saturdays.
Saturday. Okay.
Evansville Wednesday, but Tony, I know it's where you grew up, going to the matches there. Evansville was Evansville.
Yeah, that's right.
Almost didn't count.
Yeah, you might 750, 800 maybe.
Maybe if.
Did you ever consider moving to another night in Memphis, Randy?
We did, and it didn't work. I tried Saturdays and I tried Wednesdays. It did not work.
Okay.
It was worse than what it was doing on Monday against the Monday Night Wars. It really was. Plus, it screwed up for the rest of our towns.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where a great habit turns against you. You know, I mean, they had Monday night was their wrestling night. It was their habit. And they were not going to change.
You couldn't compete with Steve Austin defending the WWE title or WWF title at the time on Monday night, or Goldberg and Hulk Hogan on the other channel. It's just crazy. William says if Memphis ran on Tuesday, it still would have died, but more slowly. Certainly, I think it would have died maybe a year to 2 years after that, because when Louisville went away, was basically when Lance quit. Lance was no longer on the show. When Corey and Dave and me and all three, Tony Burton. That's a story for another day. It really is. But then at that point, it all died. Now we're going to take a break right now, because the reason we're here, and I'm about. We'll be about 8 minutes later than I wanted to be, but that is okay, because I am so fired up. I'm so excited. Pat, as long as many times we've done this show, have we ever showed a 60-minute draw before?
We've never saw a 60-minute draw, particularly with these two.
We're going to do it tonight.
I'm so excited. We'll take time out on Talking Memphis Wrestling, produced by Adam, with Tony, with Pat, Michael, Coach, William, all the crew. They're coming back into the system soon, and we'll be back in about 15 seconds with the world title match.
You'll see America's favorite sport on WHBQ television.
NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Jerry Lawler's first, and we saw some great Jack Briscoe Lawler matches a few weeks ago, 1974, when Jerry Lawler first challenged for the world title. Now, he had world title matches in 1976 with Terry Funk. I believe, Tony, and you can argue with me with this, certainly I think I am correct on this, his first chance at the NWA world title held by Harley Race was on Sunday night, December the 11th, 1977. The return match was the week later, which we showed a couple of weeks ago on December the 18th. December the 11th, 1977. Now, Tony, to your knowledge, is that Harley Race's first appearance defending the world title in Memphis?
As far as I don't think when he had it that short stretch in 73, he ever came.
Really excited about this world title match, December the 11th Harley Race. The time on this is 59:36 seconds, and either they shave 25 seconds or something's left off this thing. Are you ready, Tony?
Ready. Let's do it.
Are you ready, Pat?
I've been waiting 63 years, 6 months, and 28 days for this.
All right.
Team Hales, are you ready? Are you fired up? Are you excited? Are you ready to go back to December the 11th, 1977? Are you ready, people? And again, if we lose this feed on YouTube, switch over to the Randy Hales page, the Power Pro page, the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame page on Facebook, or at RB Hales on Twitter X, or the Randy Hales channel on Twitch. We are excited for sure. And William says Tony is correct. 1977 was Race's first title match defense in Memphis, and we'll go to that right now. The world title from December of 1977. Buckle up your seat belts, people, and we'll add commentary as well. Here's Lance Russell.
He has held the Southern Heavyweight title in those combined times longer than any other man to hold that title. Coming into the ring now, Jerry the King Lawler. For this title defense, one of the few men who has ever held the World Heavyweight title more than once. His most recent win came in Montreal, Canada, where he defeated Jerry Lawler for this title. Entering the ring now, the World Heavyweight Champion, Harley Race.
The NWA World Heavyweight Championship title match. The challenger, Jerry the King Lawler, on the left. A 27-year-old Southern Heavyweight champion, weighing in at 231 pounds for this title challenge. Shaking hands with a man on the right, who is the King of the Hill, Harley Race, the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. Your referee is Tommy Marlin.
Tommy Marlin's referee is serious business. Hey, Gail.
Hey, Pat, do you think the audience was predicting a 60-minute draw, considering the pace of how this match started?
I wonder how many 60-minute matches there had been in Memphis up to that time.
I think he had a 60-minute world title match in 1976 with Jerry Funk, correct, Tony?
Yes.
I am curious to see the faces.
And there, in the opening moments of action, Jerry the King Lawler, the Southern Heavyweight Champion, in the challenger's role tonight. Taking
And I don't know what it is, but
champion Harley Race.
These world title matches in this era just had a different feel to them than any other match on the card.
In Montreal, Canada, before a capacity house, defeating the younger of the two
It's just
Funk
the
brothers,
prestige of the
both whom
title,
have
I
held the
suppose.
world belt, Terry Funk.
Years and years of building
Race is
the
one of the very few
credibility of
men
that
to
title.
ever hold
It
the
drew
World Heavyweight
10,800
Championship
people.
more than once.
They had the return match the next week,
but Harley
December
Race's
18th.
right
It
shoulder
drew
in no danger of being
9,664
pinned.
people back.
He raises it up and breaks the count.
Two successful
Interestingly
weeks
enough,
right before Christmas.
Harley Harley Race, in both of the times that he has won the championship, defeated a Funk. First, in the first time that he won the World Heavyweight Championship, he defeated Dory Funk Jr. in Kansas City. Race comes straight up. Lawler takes him straight down. Kind of 1-2. He's got that side headlock on the mat. Not really a pinning hold.
Pat, you think it's a mark
And
that
Race
I'm
very
old
easily
and
raised his
you're
right
older
shoulder.
than a lot of our audience and Tony's around our age as well? Is it a mark of our age that we are loving this match? What do you think the fans of today, and I guess you would call them fans, I don't know, but they like and support and spend their money. This is my type of wrestling, and by God, I miss it, Tony.
Oh my God, I do too. I miss it so much. And the thing about it is when our generation is gone, there won't be anybody who actually remembers it. They'll be able to watch it on videotape like this, but they won't have ever experienced it.
Matt, what would you have done to be at the Coliseum December the 11th, 77 to see this match? How much money would you pay at the time? $20, $25?
Oh, absolutely.
Break it up.
All I had.
And Race, as he was pulling Lawler off the rope. Side suplex. Harley looked like he was going for the side suplex himself, but Lawler beat him to it and bears him down, and Race.
Tony, we mentioned on this show, I've mentioned on the show several times.
Lawler again.
Well, the people that think Jerry Lawler is
And the
just
referee,
a brawler,
Tommy
watch
Marlin
Jack
has
Briscoe
shed
match
his bow tie.
and watch this
It was
match.
interfering with his
Lawler
activity up there.
is so good at fitting his style to what, especially if it's a world champion to his opponent. Lawler is flawless in this match. Do you
Harley
agree?
Race from Kansas City.
Yeah, I mean,
Coming
Jerry
into this bout
could
at
have
245.
held the title. I mean, he was that good at working. And if he would have wanted to
Race
travel,
easily.
which I don't
Lawler
think
now
he
trying to
did,
put some
but
heat on that right
if he
shoulder,
would have
but
wanted
Race
to
converts
travel
in
and do the
one,
schedule,
two, and
Jerry
Lawler
was
just
one of
barely
the
got his
very
shoulder
few
up.
people. You know, you hear guys that
5
say
minute mark,
and
55
fans
to
say,
go.
"Oh, I think so and so should have had the
Holding
title,
onto
and
the
I think
side
this
headlock
person should have had a title."
on the canvas.
But there's really only a couple of people I can think of that never got it that could have gotten it, and Jerry's on the list.
Who else is on your list?
Buddy Colt, Ted DiBiase, that's about it.
Lawler
Pat, your thoughts on
bringing
that
it up.
Well, that's
Harley with
interesting
that
when Tony
side
brought
headlock.
that up. I need to put some thought into that. I didn't see a lot of Buddy Cole, but I did agree with DiBiase for sure.
The champions have not fared
I
too
think
well in
Buddy
terms
was
of the
probably
loss record
on
in
the
tonight's
list
action,
to
although
get
they
it if he
all
wouldn't
retained their
have gone down
titles
in
up to
the
this
plane
point.
crash in Tampa Bay.
Phil Hickerson, Dennis Condrey, the
I know the champion got a real cut
defeated the
of
Samoans
the
to retain
the house,
Southern
and
Tag
they were
Championship belts.
generally big houses, so I know it was lucrative.
The
But
superstar Billy Dundee won by
you know, you got to look yourself in the mirror and ask, do you really want that life? You know, I know that Harley talked about that he had wrestled in Tokyo and in Chicago within a 24-hour period.
From the Stomper.
And you know that was I think Lawler, more than most people, being good and being lucky and being from Memphis, you know, probably had the less travel of anybody per match. But anybody, but you know, I think the world heavyweight champion didn't have a home. You know, they were out of, you know, he was on the road 50 weeks a year.
Well,
And not wrestling once a week either.
Right. Most guys begged out of it after a while.
Yeah.
You know, they were ready to give it up.
Yeah.
Dr. Robinson has a question. I'll let you guys answer it. He says, could Kevin Von Erich hold the NWA championship? Pat, you first.
I think David could have more than Kevin. You know, I think the problem is well known with the Von Erich boys. They couldn't stay off the stuff. I've always felt like the NWA World Champion to me either has to be a great technical wrestler or a big bruiser. And that's why I've always been a little bit suspect in how Kevin could get that over, although he had a very, very unique style. And probably.
What do you think,
Richard, I do think Paul Orndorff could have been an NWA champion. As could have Steve Keirn.
I didn't think, it's just my opinion, but I didn't think Kevin was a good enough worker to pull it off. Kevin could work Kevin's match, but I don't know if Kevin could work anybody else's match. And if you're an NWA champion, you had to be able to do that. You had to be able to work a lot of different kinds of opponents and a lot of different kinds of styles. And it possibly could be because Kevin had pretty much stayed there in Texas for most of his career. He never got out very much beyond a little stint in Georgia and a couple maybe matches in Florida, but I just don't think that he was exposed to enough different kinds of guys to be able to get to that level.
We watched about 10 minutes of this. Pat, your thoughts so far?
I feel like they're almost feeling each other out. It's not boring, but I think the crowd is waiting for something big to happen. Nobody's had a real run yet.
As you would think, a legitimate battle for a world title would be, correct?
Correct.
I mean, if you're going to go 60 minutes, you're not going to go 100 miles an hour. You're going to, well, as Jack Briscoe put it, it's 4 15-minute matches. So you got to break that into 4 different segments, and the first segment is usually the feeling out period.
Lance Russell doing a fantastic job as commentary. And boy, I guess the thing is, and this is the first time I've watched this in years, just the wrestling match, the prestige of the world title, Thomas Marlin, the special referee, the 10,000 plus people at the Coliseum, and they starting because that building needs to say time after time after time. On the marquee, it says wrestling, and certainly Doc Robinson, it is Tommy Marlin, the referee of this match. I mean, seeing this, I got goosebumps, Pat, goosebumps. This is phenomenal.
Another former champion himself. Lawler with that side headlock, making the ears of Harley Race, the champion, very.
I love the fans' comments and screams and
Tommy Marlin, the third man in the ring.
Come on, Jerry. I mean, they're into it.
To be certain that Lawler,
they know it's a big match.
Had that.
Somebody asked if Harley Race calling the match, and as world champion and the first time against Lawler, I would definitely say he was.
Typically, the world champion called the match. Now, there was some back and forth, too. I mean, if the guys had a good relationship or whatever, there was. They'd let the other guy get stuff in. And Harley was fairly familiar with Jerry, so I'm sure that they were working some stuff out between them. Harley was booking in Georgia when Jerry was down there, so they knew each other pretty well, I think.
Race gets that right shoulder up. Lawler has had a lot of counts tonight on Race already, and we're about 11 or so minutes into this championship match. This crowd, an unsettled quiet as they are watching. these great heavyweight struggles. Jerry Lawler.
Richard Hood's asking you, Tony, if you think Harley Race was a good booker.
Not really. He was an exceptional wrestler and a great world champion, but and I'm getting that from other guys. That isn't just my opinion, but he that was not really his forte, nor was it many guys' forte that came out of that Kansas City office.
World heavyweight champion at count of 2, and he was almost out of it again.
Now Harley, you know, the thing is, he had a great relationship with the Funks. He learned a lot there, and his first booking job was in West Texas. As a matter of fact, he was the booker when Iron Mike DiBiase died. Ted DiBiase's stepdad had a heart attack in Lubbock. Harley was the booker, and only had been there for a couple of months. And from my understanding, Harley was really upset over that, and it bothered him for the rest of his life. It wasn't his fault or anything to do with it, but he just felt responsible because he was the leader of the guys as the booker, and the guy just died when you were the booker. So, and it was his first booking job.
Pat, is this the match you expected from the two, knowing going in it was a 60-minute draw?
It is at this point. Now, you know, I think the action is about to pick up. Harley, I think, is underrated for the bumps he can take.
Well, yeah, I mean, and if you were around Harley or you saw him in his last years, I mean, you could see it really took its toll.
Yeah.
I made one trip in probably mid-'80s with Harley from Memphis, and I took him back to Jerry Jarrett's house. I've never seen somebody drink so many beers in my life and not be drunk.
You know, in your lifetime, that's saying something.
Follows with a body slam. Takes him straight over in a mare. And awfully close. Awfully close. Lawler thought he might have had him.
And Tony, Pat, you have to remember that what drew this house was Jerry Lawler and the World Heavyweight Championship. The people of Memphis had never really seen Harley Race. Now, at that point in December, I'm sure they could have seen Harley on TBS. Tony, is that accurate?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
They could have, Randy, but Harley didn't wrestle on TBS any more than anybody. I mean, he wasn't a homesteader there.
No.
And truthfully, wait a minute. I watched TBS wrestling earlier than most people. I don't know that I ever remember him having a match on TV. He would come to town and they would have a championship match at the Army.
Yeah, well, the other thing to remember, too, is that Jim Barnett was the secretary of the National Wrestling Alliance, so he was booking the champion.
Yeah.
So he would have had him on his television program more than...
Well, he had him on, Tony, but he wasn't, he wasn't like a Lawler wrestling every week.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no. He would come in to sell the Atlanta and, do a promo, but I don't remember 5 times. I don't remember any times. I'm sure there was some that he got involved in a match on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, and two, in those days, promoters wanted him to be on TBS because that was good for their territory. When he came into their territory, the fans knew him because he was on the satellite.
Doc Robinson said he was sitting about 4 or 5 rows from the front row on the floor for this match. I would have given anything, guys, to be there. I'm jealous of Rusty, Pat.
I'll tell you, Rusty. That's that's right up there when Coach Ryan asked me was going to rain one time.
Having just escaped some trouble, is unable to go after Lawler quite as hard as
I realize I'm an older man, but certainly I'm glad I grew up, and I'm sure you guys would agree that you grew up in the era that we did, not in the crazy era that's going on with wrestling right now.
For a front face lock.
And Tony, you watched SummerSlam at least the first night, and I'll be honest with you, both nights, because I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, I watched maybe 3 matches, maybe 4 at the most, and then went to bed. No way to go to bed watching this match.
Oh, no. And both the main events, both nights of SummerSlam, I thought were really good. I thought, well, I mean, the Cody Rhodes and CM Punk match was phenomenal. I thought it was real old school psychology, and the Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins match just had a lot of the same kind of feel like this match does. Like it's just a real big deal.
Again, guys, it says wrestling on the marquee, and that's what we're getting here.
Yeah.
And again, our people are making noise the whole way, but you can look. What they're doing is what they need to be doing. They're watching the match. I don't see anybody going to the concession stand.
Now look at the crowd popping on a near fall there.
With a small package.
You're right.
Harley is so good.
I did appreciate Harley's head, buddy.
Yeah,
I love it. Who's the referee here?
Thomas Marlin.
Okay. He's doing a great job. He's not overselling, but I love his animation.
Once again, Harley goes.
I didn't recognize him. I remember him being a lot skinnier, but he's older here.
Yeah.
Harley was a unique worker.
Very much so.
As a 20-minute call, 40 minutes to wrestle in this World Championship. One fall, 60-minute time limit bout. Referee Tommy Marlin checking Lawler's condition as Race really putting the steam on Lawler. Just holding his head straight down into the canvas. Lawler trying to make the effort now, and Race is battling him. Lawler in a push-up brings himself up. In a standing position.
Starting to get some crowd chants.
Yes, sir.
Lawler picks Race up and body slams him. Staggers back himself as Harley.
This is great.
For a headbutt, Lawler really caught him square in the face. Count of one. No, his feet are on the ropes.
Now, what we don't think about here and what the crowd is not thinking about, because they're just into the match, but Harley does this every night of the week.
Yeah.
All over the world.
All over the world.
Lawler just stands
You
straight
know,
up on Race's face.
our main subject of the day, obviously, is paying tribute to Dory Funk Jr. Harley Race is the man that dethroned in Kansas City Dory Funk Jr., Tony.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. That deal got worked out, and because of Harley's close relationship to the Funks, he became the mailman to deliver the title from Dory to Jack Briscoe. with the promise that he would end up getting it back at some point.
Right there in your living room.
And Bob Geigel had a tremendous relationship with the Funks. He started his career in West Texas, was there for 6-7 years, from around 1953-54 to 1960, till Doc Sarpolis and Dory Funk Sr. told him he should go buy into a territory. He went back and bought into the Kansas City territory. And Harley became in a relationship with the Funks by being Happy Humphrey's driver and driving Happy Humphrey into West Texas. And he was told the same thing, to go after he wound up his tag team with Larry the Axe Hennig. They told him, they said, you should buy into that territory up there in Missouri with Bob Geigel. So there was a lot of close relationships involved with that whole title switch between Dory Jr. and Harley and Jack.
But so is Harley Race. They're both coming to their knees.
Pat, was this worth waiting for?
It was. I was real curious to see how this unfolded.
There's a patented Harley bump right there.
Yeah.
Harley was staggered badly.
Terry Funk was really good at that bump also.
Lance Russell doing a remarkable job as commentary.
Harley could do some of those interesting things like that for being such a thick guy. He had really strong control. Those vertical suplexes that he would do, he had a lot of control over his body.
My friend, let me tell you. And the referee trying to get them both to get back in the ring, not having much success. Oh, and Harley, as Lawler was going to run his head into the post, Harley shakes him and throws Lawler straight face forward.
This is a heck of a post sell. I always thought that would be a difficult bump to pull off.
I agree. I've always thought that too.
25 minutes passed.
But some guys like Lawler just really good at it.
Lawler up on his feet. Race coming after him. Race going for a suplex, using the tights to help get his leverage, and Lawler just sits down on him. Lawler gets the suplex.
That's
Race
huge.
over. Lawler back to
What I love about this match, it just kind of occurred to me with that last bump that they just did with the suplex, is this looks like a struggle.
Absolutely. Good point, Tony.
It looks like a tremendous physical struggle, which is what I think makes pro wrestling unique, is when you can present it like
These
that.
guys have already beat the stew out of each other. Lawler takes him straight. It looked like Harley was going for a pile driver, which is not illegal in the state of Tennessee. Lawler took him straight over backward. Body slam. Count of one. Race kicks out. Trying to clear his head. Side headlock. Race picks him up.
That's a great move by Lawler.
That
That's a typical Harley Race move there. The Lawler blocked and flipped.
Yeah.
Jerry Lawler hanging on to that side headlock.
Watching the December the 11th, 1977, Memphis, Tennessee, Mid-South Coliseum, as Harley Race came rolling into Memphis, defending his world title for the first time against Jerry Lawler. Again, December the 11th, 1977, almost 11,000 people at the Mid-South Coliseum.
Referee Tommy Marlin checking closely.
I mean, without a doubt, Lance is doing a tremendous job here with his Coliseum delivery and Coliseum voice, but I got to get my plug in here. Pat, what would you give to have some NWA World Title matches called by Sterling?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
You know, in Birmingham, there must have been a lot that we don't have now.
Yeah, I don't think there's very little of that out there. And I've looked and called everybody I know to call.
I mean, I could only imagine how good he was at calling a big match like that.
Oh, yeah.
Really enjoying this match. I wonder if my friend Randy West is still watching Talking Memphis Wrestling and watching Race and Lawler. Randy was not there that night. Race is just so darn good and a tough son of a gun.
James, I agree with you. I would like to have seen Harley and Bockwinkel go at it, and I'm sure they did. They're up in the same area.
He went over the top rope. Now it's a judgment decision on the referee's part.
Yeah, I gotta think about that a little bit, because Bockwinkel came into the AWA about the time Race was leaving.
Yeah.
Race and Hennig were coming kind of to the end of their run when Bockwinkel and Stevens came in. I don't know if they had any matches up there or not.
He didn't put him over the top rope. He threw him into the ropes, and that was all.
Thomas Marlin is really adding to this match, and that's why Jerry brought him in.
He's awesome. I noticed that earlier.
It's a tough call for the official, because a wrestler can add a little jump and go over that top rope and win about. And the question
Harley
is
was
whether
great at
and
using the
whether he in
rope.
fact did throw him over.
You know, one place they would have wrestled, but they probably didn't, because Paul Bosch was not a Harley Race fan, but Houston would have been a place where they could have potentially had a match down the road if Race and Bosch would have gotten along better. Bockwinkel owned some points in Houston, so he appeared there fairly often.
Okay.
Race no-showed an NWA title match there on a Sunday afternoon. He thought it was a Sunday night show, and Paul Bosch never forgave him for it.
Lawler throws him out. Thought it might have been a little premature to go for a pin on Lawler, having seen Lawler wrestle so many matches. Boy, it takes a lot to put him out of it. Race picks him up, drops him down across that knee.
I always thought that too. That was great what Lance just said there. You know, as a fan watching, I always thought, what an amazing amount of punishment Lawler could take.
Yeah.
Like he does a great job of selling but not dying. Which is a art form all its own.
Harley Race is using the ropes as he drops down and pulls on Lawler. Race, his attention being directed to the fact that Lawler has his foot on the rope. Race a little irritated, but he himself has used it on 3 occasions tonight.
Big headbutt.
And Race drops straight down, bounces.
I was saying that Harley and Nick were tag team partners in Japan in 1984, guys.
I'd like to have seen that.
Lawler started to get up. But where Harley dropped him on the small of his back across that knee, Lawler sagged back to the canvas. We've passed the 30.
My gosh, how long were their interviews? Both of them were real slow, deliberate talkers.
Yeah.
At this point.
You had to get your dictionary out to understand what Nick was saying.
Have you ever seen him on Hollywood Squares?
Count of 4.
Bockwinkel?
Yeah.
No.
He was on Hollywood Squares as a contestant, and it was outstanding.
All clear.
Did he win?
Yeah.
And there it is.
There's Lawler with the abdominal stretch.
Lawler trying to apply the heat.
And that was a big submission hold in Birmingham.
Notice his left leg.
That's two matches we've watched tonight. We've seen it in both matches, and I don't know when I've seen one in a match. I don't know when the last time was I saw one. However,
that was an immediate 10-second submission.
Well, it's a very painful move if done properly. I mean, this is the working version, but when you do the guillotine on a guy, it's extremely painful and usually is a tap out pretty quick.
Richard, I'll pay you if you can find that, shouldn't me?
Referee Tommy Marlin saying, "How about it, Harley? How about it, Harley?"
We did see. Did my heart good that CM Punk and Cody Rhodes did the old arm twist on each other.
Yeah.
He goes up, stands straight up again.
I'm glad you, first of all, kudos for watching that, Tony, and I'm glad you're not coming here completely destroying the show. Obviously, I'm glad there's stuff on the show that you enjoy.
Oh yeah, I love the Punk and Rhodes match, and I like the Obafemi and Brock Lesnar match too.
One thing I'm enjoying about this world title match compared to current wrestling, what piece of furniture have you seen being involved in the match?
That was not allowed in an NWA world title match.
And also, as you see the referee, compare Thomas Marlin's job refereeing with the referees you saw the other night.
Right.
That ignores the rules.
Right. They just stand there watching the guy get thrown over the top rope out on the outside, or somebody else comes in the ring and hits somebody. Thomas Marlin is enforcing the rules. James Beard was on my show here a couple of weeks ago, and he said, "Hey, when I refereed, I called it like a shoot. If they don't get their shoulder up, I count them out."
25 minutes to wrestle, and Harley
which adds so much to the match.
Somewhat hobbled from that abdominal stretch.
Pat, they just announced 25 minutes to wrestle.
He is so tired himself. Race hit the deck and just laid there. Once again, Race falls. Cannot follow it up.
I love how a wrestler does an offensive move like a headbutt, like Harley just did, and then he sells it himself, which is logical.
Pushes himself up. And with the rope,
here it comes.
Yep. The canvas as Lawler sits up out of the way.
And Lawler continues to sell. Wrestling 101, folks. It ain't that hard.
Lawler started up, fell back. Race on one knee. Now they're both standing. Sharp left hand from Race.
That's that short fist from Harley.
Lawler,
little edit there.
Right hand. Oh, whipped him to the rope. Caught him with
Two guys really good at that short punch was Harley and Dick Murdoch.
Lawler still staggering somewhat himself. Drops on Race with a knee. 1, 2, and he's off. It becomes harder and harder and harder.
Appreciate everybody watching on Twitter, on Twitch, and on YouTube here tonight. Very special Talking Memphis Wrestling.
Lawler irritated. He's got Race too close to the ropes. Drops on him with a knee, but he can't get a pin from that position. He can sure inflict a lot of damage, though. Less than 25 minutes to wrestle. An incredible 37 minutes having passed. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. There is no way that the average person can imagine the amount of physical exertion that is required to be able to stay in there and go this amount of time under physical strain and punishment.
You know, they are doing a great job of pacing this match.
Two professionals. It's fantastic.
Lawler from behind, reverse face lock on Race. He doesn't have the pressure point to go for a sleeper.
Come on, Jerry.
Now on their feet, Race goes for Lawler's hair. He couldn't care less what the referee's saying. He wants out of this hole. And Lawler uses the hair to take Race off his feet. The referee says, bring it up. Lawler breaks and then is forced to break again and comes right back with that reverse face lock.
I hate today, this was started by the Wrestling Observer era and Dave Meltzer. How they call this a rest hold.
Referee slaps
To me,
his hand away.
Tony and Pat, that always got a lot of heat for me. It's a wrestling hold. This is a wrestling match. This is logical. This isn't no rest hold. As you can see how they're selling in the thing. That's about the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of. How about you, Pat?
I agree. I mean, that's where you wear people down.
Big broad arm. Lawler has him down. Referee saying stay with that broad arm and stay off the fist. And you notice he did not. Caught him heavy with that right hand.
I'm curious to see the rest of this match because he is selling hard.
Yes.
And Race for the third time.
December 11th, 1977.
Right in the midsection with a headbutt. And down among our broadcasting cables, Lawler lays on a concrete
Less
floor.
than 20, about
Rolling through the ring
1850 left in this match for the NWA World Championship. Left in the time limit for this match.
Drops with a knee on Lawler.
I love how the referee
Tommy
goes out of the ring and starts the count, telling him to get it in the ring. It's a 10 count to get in the ring. Lawler
as Race was getting ready to hammer
sends Race into the table.
Reversed it and slammed Race's head into this huge metal bell. On the end of the table, our timer's bell. Referee Tommy Marlin trying to get Lawler to get in the ring.
I love how Thomas Marlin, this great refereeing guys, positioned himself
By the steps, Lawler bashed his head into that bell.
in between
He busted his head
Race
open
and
to
Lawler and forced Lawler in the ring.
almost.
Yes.
He was the ruler of the match, and that's what a referee should do, and we're missing that now.
may have been very costly move for Jerry. It's questionable whether Harley could have made it back in. Lawler nails him twice. Has him
Adam
at the
asked,
top
did
step,
Tommy
and he
ever ref on
slides down the
TV?
steps to the
Not
concrete
that I
floor.
remember. Not that I
Lawler
remember.
senses he's got it. Referee Tommy Marlin starts the count at 3. Lawler counting along with him.
Kids, Jerry, you don't want
Rolls
this.
himself off the steps. And dives back into the ring.
That's just
What a
fantastic.
move by the champion. Can't do it. Count of 2.
Good Harley.
Head busted open where Lawler bashed him into that bell.
He's juicing. He's shaking. He's trembling.
Comes up fighting. That's what a champion is all about. Race in bad shape, but still back.
Got a couple of Bruiser Brody tremors going there.
Lawler hits him 3 times, and
Oh.
with that big broad arm stood him straight on his head, and he Memphis, Tennessee may be the scene of the next title change, as the last one started with an M, and that was Montreal, Canada. Race kicks his way out. He is not about to let it go easily. Race and Lawler both very, very tired. Ooh. 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 Half a second. That's all. Half a second. The difference between a new champion and the old one making a super effort to retain his championship. But he is in bad shape.
So here's a question for you, Randy. How hard was it to book somebody as a credible challenger for Lawler after he's been through this 60-minute match with Harley Race?
It wasn't hard this time because remember they had the return match the next week. They ran banging in with the Coke bottle, and so you were off and running.
Yeah, so it had to be a
major
dastard, had to be a Pearl Harbor dastardly act or something.
Some kind of personal issue for Lawler next.
Yeah.
If you had that, which was easier said than done, but if you had it, it was magic.
Yeah.
Referee Tommy Marlin counting, and look at Race. Unbelievable. Uses a cable under the ring. Now the ring floor itself. And at the count of 9, he is back and in the ring. With less than 15 minutes to go in this 60-minute time limit.
There goes the strap.
Back. He cannot believe that Race has been able to come back.
Business is picking up now, boys.
Yep.
Look at that top rope classic Race bump. Man.
And now we've got the same argument. In reality, it looked from here that he simply whipped Harley in with the Irish whip. Harley, being as dead tired as he is, flipped over the rope. The referee agreed with it, started the count, and once again at the count of 8 this time, Harley Race got back in the ring. Lawler with a suplex. Race down.
I love the fans.
He'll have to be counted out. Oh, Lawler was going to lay the splash on him, and Harley Race just doubled his knees up and caught him with both knees right in the midsection. Race drops with a big knee. Harley goes all the way to the top rope. Lawler gets up, picks him up right off the top rope and throws him down into the ring and falls back on the turnbuckles himself. Misses an elbow. Unbelievable. Absolutely incredible. The huge crowd in the Memphis Mid-South Coliseum came here knowing that the Southern Heavyweight Champion Lawler was capable of taking Harley Race. He had done it in a non-title bout a year and a half or so ago. steps over with a toe hold. And Harley Race has his leg bent straight back. Watch it. Lawler hits it hard. Race will not give up. For a third time. Right straight across Harley. And Race, in response to the referee, says, nope. Minutes has passed. 10 minutes to wrestle. Nine minutes to go. 9 minutes to go. You only got 9 minutes. The PA system has gone out. Lawler back over. Lawler lets go of that one. That was getting him nowhere pin-wise, and that's what he wants. He's come too far tonight. Nails Harley.
You didn't see a big boot from Lawler very often.
What do you have to do to hold this guy down? Now Lawler may have him. Referee grabs both ends and says, you're not going to beat on him.
What a refereeing job here.
But Lawler does.
It's phenomenal.
Right hands. Count of two. Lawler thought he might have had him. Nope. Harley takes him down in a jackknife. One,
Harley's so good.
Two. Kicks his way free.
When's the last time you saw that?
Been a minute.
Lawler going for the sleeper hold. He rarely uses this hold. He figures maybe that this is a good time since Race is as he is. Very tired. Jerry Lawler holding on with about 7 minutes to go, but Harley Race is also holding on. Lawler does not have a good position on him. He tightens it up better. He's got a much better position on him now. Race is sagging. Now Harley slips back. And there goes Lawler through the ropes. Lawler did not have a good position on the sleeper hold. Race had moved around to where he'd relieve some of it. Lawler
Be
then
honest,
went down, tightened
Pat,
it up hard.
going into watching this
Race
match,
slipped
has
back
the
just
metrics,
enough to get a shoulder at Lawler and knock him through the ropes.
expectations, has it been lower than your expectations, or has it exceeded?
You know, I think it's interesting that in the world of Memphis wrestling, which isn't a technical wrestling mecca, how they have been able to keep the tension of the match going for 50 minutes now.
Slips in behind for the sleeper hold.
But yeah, it
Looks
is
like his
exceeded.
positioning may be better this time. There goes Harley.
I don't
See how
think
he
we
rolls
give
it off and
Lawler
takes the
enough
pressure off
credit
the side of that
for his
neck.
technical wrestling skills, and Harley's really
Rips
brought
his
that
head
out.
and shakes him off the
So
sleeper.
did Nick.
Lawler
Because
goes
you
after it again.
can't bang on each other for a solid hour.
He's been unable to get the pin and hold him for a 3 count.
I would love to hear
He's going
from
to try to get a submission on him.
audience tonight.
Rather
Team
put him
Hills,
asleep
let me
where
know
he'll have it
if this
with
is
no
a gamble
problem.
for us and we've kept our numbers up.
Lawler
A gamble to show a 60-minute
applying the
match.
pressure
What
to
do you
the right
guys? You
side of
guys
the neck.
enjoying this
That's
match
where all
tonight?
the pressure is on that point. Referee Tommy Marlin checking him. Remember, he's been in there 54 minutes himself. Race is down. He is not out, but he is definitely down and hurt. Once again, I think this is the 4th or 5th time that Race has used the ropes to break a count. Lawler sagged when he saw that. He has done everything he can to the champion.
Well said, Richard.
And the wily champion has avoided that 3 count all the way. Again, he is much too close. No. Lawler thinks he's won. He hasn't. I can see it from here. So can you. Race's legs were over the ropes. Lawler jumps up. There's no question about it. Regardless of how, we'd like to see Lawler, the world heavyweight champion. Harley Race's legs were well over the ropes. Race comes from behind, rolls him in, comes back into a jackknife. Nope. Lawler now is over the ropes. Only 4 minutes in time.
4 minutes, less than 4 minutes to go. Tony, would you say this was a masterpiece?
Oh, this is a fantastic masterpiece. And I love this from the perspective of people who don't really know Jerry as a great wrestler.
Yeah.
And just as he went up in the air, he saw the legs, and his legs were well over the ropes, not just barely.
But I mean, you go back a week or two ago when you guys showed the Bockwinkel match. It was a great match as well with Jerry.
Lawler falls back. Race misses the elbow.
A little trivia. The last 1 hour draw in Memphis wrestling history that I remember, Pat, was the Jeff Jarrett, Jerry Lawler 1 hour draw in 1996.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh, Race catches him, zinging left hand. Takes a right from Lawler.
I pitched it to Jeff first. He said Lawler never go for it. I think he will if I present it right.
Has near the sting and the punches.
I said, let's do something different. And then switch the time on TV Saturday because Jeff had just come back in the territory. I said, do you mind going 3 or 16? And he said, that'd be great. For sure. It was that hard.
Wow.
Neither wrestler.
Coming close to the end, so guys, let's lay out on the sound right now and let Lance Russell do his match. Here we go, and Adam, let's go full strength.
But whether the body's got enough, he may hear. 1, 2. Nope. Harley Race shakes the jackknife. Count of 1, 2, and Race once again uses the ropes. Lawler throws his feet back inside. Race takes another one from Lawler. And Race kicks out this time. Lawler goes to the ropes. Straight down. This could be his last chance. 1, 2. And up comes Harley Race's left shoulder. The crowd really wanting severely. They want Lawler Lawler to win this so bad they can taste it, and he has been so close. With 1 minute to go, these men have been at it 1 solid hour. Unbelievable. Just like this. Unless Lawler gets him here, he has no chance. 1, 2, and Race kicks.
Wow.
30 seconds to go. They are just drained, both men. Lawler goes with the elbow. He picked Race up. I'm surprised he even got him in the air. Lawler going to put it all in one basket. Jumps at Harley Race. Count of 1, 2, no. And that's it. The 60-minute time limit.
He kicked him with 1 second left.
Will be a draw. 60 minutes to a draw. Harley Race retains his World Heavyweight Championship.
Love it.
That's
I
great
think
stuff.
the number one word that comes to my mind watching that fantastic 60-minute match, Harley Race, Jerry Lawler on December the 11th, the day after my birthday, born in 61, this would have been my 16th birthday. And the word that comes to my mind, guys, is wow. Pat, what word comes to your mind watching this tremendous match? Our first 1 hour draw we've ever watched on the show.
Clinic. Yeah.
What word can you say, Tony Richards?
Fantastic. I just, it's a fantastic match.
Let's real quick just sum out the first couple of things that come to your mind, Pat, watching this match. What stood out to you?
Well, and I don't like to speak ill of the king, but I had my concerns earlier on because I've seen Harley probably wrestle, on TV and a couple of times live, and he wrestles a very specific physical match. It wears down an opponent. There's something Lawler just has not done a lot. And I wondered what the pace would look like. But Lawler hung with him and gave it to him and sold for him, and they sold for each other, and it was a great match. And it's not a normal Lawler match. It's not he's flat of his back, he pulls the strap, has a furious comeback and wins the match. It wasn't like that at all. This was an hour of wrestling. That match could have happened. What year was that, Randy?
December the 11th, 1977.
Okay, that match could have been 1947. Is that right, Tony?
Oh, sure. It could have fit into any era, if that's what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That was
Tony?
a pure wrestling match.
Your thoughts watching, first of all, I'll ask you, I might have asked it earlier, have you ever watched that entire 60-minute match before?
I don't think so, which is why I was really looking forward to tonight, because I couldn't remember, and I wasn't going to sneak a peek at it before. I wanted to see it on here, but the amount of wrestling, you kept saying it, this is a wrestling match, and wrestling's on the marquee. I enjoy that. I mean, I just, you watch a modern product because that's what's available, and you just sort of forget, and then you go back and you watch something like this and you're like, wow, look at that counter, look at that kick out, look at that abdominal stretch, look at that hammerlock, just so many great counter moves and moves and counter moves. I just thoroughly enjoyed it. This was a very nice evening.
I mean, absolutely spectacular. Again, as we will go back from the opening of the show, I really enjoyed this show because I'm, watching my numbers the entire show, I was thinking, man, we've never done this, and people's attention span, not what it used to be. Our numbers have stayed up, but certainly I want to go back. And Adam, I think we have a caption. Our show tonight was dedicated to the memory of a great world champion from one of the greatest wrestling families in the history of wrestling families, and that is Dory Funk Jr. Passed away today at night at 85 years old. Certainly, I think we can't lose sight of the fact one of the greatest world champions from one of the greatest families in the history of wrestling. Somebody that's about to put out a book on Dory Funk Sr., and certainly expert and a big researcher. I'm sure this is like it is every real wrestling fan, old school wrestling fan. This is a sad day for all of us, Tony.
Oh my gosh, it really, really is, and it's the end of a great dynasty. And as we lose more and more of those NWA traveling champions, it's just closing the book on, Dory Funk Jr. Another thing that was real interesting about him was that he would be probably the first wrestler that would be featured on the local sports show or on the local news. When he would fly into a town to defend the title, news reporters would show up at the airport just like it would for a boxer. And Dory Jr. always carried the title with him. When he went out to dinner at night, he'd set the world title on the table in front of him. He was just presented the title and carried the championship in such an honorable manner. And he was just fantastic. And I'm certainly sad. I'm glad that he's at peace now. I had a conversation with Terry's daughter and Funk's daughter, and I told her, I said, well, Dory Sr., Dorothy, which was their mother, Terry, and Dory Jr., they're all back together again now.
Absolutely wonderful words there. Pat, sum up Dory Funk and his legacy.
I think his legacy will be, and as much respect as I have for Harley and Flair, probably the last masterful wrestler to hold that belt for any period of time.
No doubt about it. Hey, real quick, I want to say next week, as I've appreciated everybody, one of the good things about this show is how we shake up the panel every week. Michael couldn't be here tonight. He returns next week, and I'm going to have Dr. William Robinson show up, and we got good stuff next week on Talking Memphis Wrestling, as we will show the last sellout ever at wrestling at the Mid-South Coliseum. Lawler lost or lose at Leave Town. He was back. He and Dutch Mantel against Landale and Dundee. Plus, we will also show the 26 Falls, Texas Death. Pat.
One of my favorite angles. Love it. The Bill and Buddy Show.
Bill and Buddy Show.
All right. Pat, you going to the beach next week and have fun, and I hope the Sharks don't get you. Tony, what I want you to do before we go home right now, I want to get out of here by 9. Tell the people again. I put it over at the beginning, the Pro Wrestling Timetable, the Daily Chronicle, all that stuff. You do unbelievable work there, no matter what Pat says. Pat's the one that introduced me to you. But tell people how they can follow your great work.
Thank you, Randy. I appreciate it. TonyRichards4.substack.com is the home for the Pro Wrestling Time Tunnel. The Daily Chronicle is the only Territory Era history newsletter that comes out every single morning, 5 a.m. Central, 6 a.m. Eastern Time. It's absolutely free. Just put your email address in. If you'd like to receive our extra features, the Tracking the World Champion, the Evolution of Pro Wrestling, and the Family Tradition, which is a series that tracks the families of pro wrestling, That's just $5 a month or $50 a year. That gets you a premium subscription, and you'll be dialed in. Tomorrow, I'll just put a plug in for tomorrow's issue of the Chronicle, a fairly lengthy feature on the life and career of Ken Lucas, who was a fantastic Southern babyface, both in Tennessee, Alabama, and Florida. I had a lot of fun writing that article, and I'll be coming out with an extensive piece on Dory Funk Jr. as well here in a few days. So
can't wait, Pat and Tony. Appreciate you guys for staying with us the whole hour. I say this almost every week, but sometimes I don't mean it. I'm just trying to hype the show. What a show, Pat. Doesn't this go way up top in the history of the show?
It does go way up top. I think we experimented a little bit tonight, and I'm pleased that our friends stayed with us, and it was a great show. And I love it when we get deep into our subject. We sure did tonight. And James, I do not Facebook. I'm on X, but don't.
And
Facebook.
Tony does. And Tony, tell him your Facebook.
Yeah, it's just Tony Richards in Facebook. And also, if you want to join our wrestling group, it's the Pro Wrestling Time Tunnel on Facebook.
Very good. Thanks to producer Adam Dunn. We miss Michael. We miss Chris. We miss Doc. But I appreciate Tony. Everybody, we love emails. We love this audience. We love you. And we're out of here. Until next time, I'm Randy Hales saying bye-bye.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Talking Memphis Wrestling with Randy Hill and special guests.